Remember when you were a kid and you forgot to do your homework? There was always that joke, that you didn't do it because the dog ate it. And yet, very rarely was that ever actually the case, right? So the point is that you can come up with any number of excuses why you might not do your homework. But for the most part, none of those excuses will actually ever be true. And it's the same concept with goals and dreams. Thing is, we're hardwired as humans, right, to come up with reasons, aka excuses, why we shouldn't go after our goals and dreams. And so it stops us. And here are some of the famous ones. I don't have money. I don't have time, or I'm too busy. My partner, parents, next door neighbour don't think that it's a good idea. They wouldn't approve. I'm not confident enough. I'm not ready. I'm too tired, or I don't have the energy, or I'm not in the mood. I'm not motivated enough. I should clean the car. Or any other reason that you think you should do something rather than actually wanting to do it. It's scary, or it's too hard. The weather is crap. I'm not that sort of person. I couldn't do it. I'm not good enough. You get the picture. The question is, do any of these excuses, any of these reasons, do they resonate? And if they do, you're not alone, because it's perfectly normal, perfectly human to come up with excuses when it comes to our goals and our dreams. So why is that? Well, it all comes down to evolution and how we've been programmed. And it comes down to that reptilian part of our brain, which is often called ego, and that governs the fight or flight response. And anything that it deems as a threat to our survival, it sends our ego mind into overdrive, all in a bid to try and protect us and keep us safe. And goals and dreams, they fall into this threat category. And the ego mind sees them as change or growth or something new or the unknown or a challenge to the status quo. And it doesn't like that. And it just wants to keep you safe. And so it will do everything in its power to stop you from pushing outside your comfort zone and going after those goals and dreams. And one of those tools that the ego falls back on is coming up with excuses why you shouldn't do it. Now, the problem isn't that we make excuses. The problem is that we buy into these excuses and we believe them to be true. And then we let them dictate our behavior. Because this is when the ego mind wins and succeeds, because it stops us from going after our goals and dreams. And the result is that we stay stuck, we stay in limbo in our comfort zone, and those goals and dreams don't happen. But here's the takeaway, right? The thing is, these excuses are never true. I mean, how often do you say, I don't have the money or I don't have the time, and then something happens and suddenly that time and that money is there and you go and do something that's less scary? Or how often do you say, oh yeah, I'm too tired to do that, and then something else comes up and you go and do that, or you stay up late? It's just a great example of how these excuses can dictate our behavior and stop us going after what we really want to go after. So what can you do? Well, there's 4 steps really. And the first is to raise awareness. So write out all the stories, all those excuses you're telling yourself about why you can't go after your goal or dream. The second is to be honest with yourself. So recognize that it's an excuse and it's not the truth. Recognize that it's that part of your brain that's just designed there to keep you safe. And ask yourself, why are you making the excuse? What are you really scared of? And now that can be a very uncomfortable and confronting thing to do, because you're directly facing your fears. And the ego will see that as a threat to its survival. So do be kind to yourself when you're asking yourself that. And then the third way is to reframe. So instead of coming up with excuses why you can't, come up with a list of all the reasons why you can. And the fourth thing is to really think about what is the one small action or step that you can take right now. The thing is, it's okay to feel scared because this is part of our human experience. What's not okay is when we sabotage ourselves and when we sabotage our hopes and our dreams. So to leave today, I want you to ask yourself, what would you do if money or time wasn't a problem? And what would you do if you only had 1 year left to live? What excuses would you shelve if that situation presented itself to you? And if you'd like more tips on mastering self-doubt, boosting your confidence, and achieving your goals and dreams, then sign up to my newsletter. The link's in the below.